Well, hey. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday, one and all. We've got Nathaniel Lacarre, Bob Sacamano, Scott Wexland, and Carolyn Martin.
Carolyn Martin.
You have to say it that way, don't you? It's Carolyn Martin.
Yeah, it's not Carolyn Martin. Although it could be Caroline Martin, because I think she has Italian in her. Sorry about my camera there. I think it's a loose cable. Yeah. I think she has Italian background or something. But Martin sounds, yeah.
Jem Hader from Greetings from Belgium. Dirk? I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm drinking from my Murano glass tonight. Look at that.
That's very nice. That you got on Murano, not the one from China in St. Mark's Square.
I didn't actually go to Murano, but, you know, there's a lot of stores here that sell Murano glass. But, yeah, I could hop on the boat and go straight over there.
I have been told that you have to be careful of the glass that you buy in the main part of Venice because it might very well be Murano-esque.
Fake Murano. So, a Fraudemar Piguet, a Folex. What's a fake Murano glass? A lot of it is not. It's not what you consider high quality. There's a lot of people on Murano who kind of wing it.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people come up from Naples up to the north of Italy, and they make pizza saying, "Oh, we're Napolitani. We make the real Napolitano pizza," but they have no clue. Like, if their mates saw them, they'd laugh. But they come up here and, you know, they just because they're from Naples, they get to say that they know what real pizza is. So the Northerners can't say a thing because the pizza is from the South. So it's like, well, it's theirs, so we better shut up, you know. But there's actually a lot of guys who don't really know how to make a pizza at all. They're just milking the fact that they have a Southern accent. They're from the South. Looking for any way to make money, you know. Good evening, Pablo. Good evening, Dirk Diggler. Just in time.
Hey. Ray's birthday's in 59 minutes. He's totally marmaladed.
Just in time, a quick question. A quick question from Just in Time. Is there a need for eye bashers if TTWC is now Oshinomali? Yeah, because Oshinomali is about good living and watches and wine and whiskey. Eye bashers is about bashing shit out of everything else. I don't know if I would make an episode on the Oshinomali channel about the things that we're about to talk about tonight. So,
what are we talking about? Oh my God!
Do you know the subjects?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm well versed. I was
let some people roll
this
in.
morning. Yeah, talking this morning about the.
I'm actually going to smoke a cigar.
Aren't you fancy?
Well, I have to go easy on the booze because of recent medical scares. So I don't mind smoking a cigar. It's also been a long few days. I've been a little bit stressed with stuff. So I'm just going to kick back with this puppy.
What is it?
It is a custom hand-rolled cigar from Cuba.
From Cuba.
It is not from any particular mark. Look at the wrapper on that thing.
Now, the wrapper on a cigar, forgive my my lack of intelligence in the world of cigars, but that's just a tobacco leaf, right?
Yeah. Look, cigars are made in two ways. Well, really three, but two principal ways. One is they take the leaf and they just wrap it until it turns into a thing. The other is they take the leaves and they dice them all up and pack them inside a wrapper. And then there's a mixture of the two sometimes. The former is the best, but you know, this is okay. This is definitely a diced up version. You can't really see it there. Camera's not helping me here at all, but this wrapper, yes, is one leaf. And you have to be careful when cutting it, because if you cut it too much, you it could start to unravel, and then it'll be a big mess. A lot of people make the mistake of cutting too far down. They think it's a bris. The full covenant. No. You don't want to do, you just want to do the very top, you want to cut in on the shoulder, and the very top of the shoulder, just enough to let the air in, which is why you need a nice sharp tool, which I thought I had. Wow, that was hard to actually cut. Really hard. Wow. And I got a lot of shit from viewers because I made that episode Goodbye TTWC, and I'm outdoors and it's windy. I was out on the San Giorgio Maggiore. It was windy and stuff, so I didn't have one of those jet fuel thingies, the little torch things.
The torch, yeah.
Those things run out in 5 seconds. You can't.
You have to get a Calibri. Those are the best.
Right. There's Carolyn, Rabbi O'Malley. I'm the Moyle.
The Moyle. Oh.
The Moyle has arrived. And
imagine.
So I just brought this thing. I brought whatever I had. I was like, I'm on my way out to talk to the fans about it, or the viewers, or whatever they're called, about changing the name. So I need a smoke. So whatever, I just used this, and I managed to light it up, and then everybody is writing, "Oh my God, you don't know how to light a cigar." I'm like, of course I know how to light a cigar. I just grabbed what I could. Anyway, now I'm going to take a piece of cedar because I'm indoors, and I'm going to do it the right way, provided the fan that's pointing at me doesn't interrupt.
I have no idea what you're about to do.
This is a piece of cedar. So inside the box, when you get a box of cigars like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, inside, covering the cigars, there's a piece of cedar, which is now, I've taken a few pieces out of it, but it would appear like the box is about the same size. And you break off pieces, and then you do this. You light this rather than direct contact with your cigar. Yeah, you see the fan is going to annoy me now, but whatever, I'll turn away from it. And you chase the flame. I nearly put the other one. Okay, it's been a long couple of days.
I had no idea that was a thing. Oh.
Now, some would heat the wrapper. That's fine if that's what you're into. You can make a big deal out of it. Big ritual.
Baby, you are my ritual, burning in my soul. Wow.
Without making a big half-hour ritual of it, that's pretty much how you do it.
Now you look like Frank DeLeo, the guy that used to manage Madonna and Michael Jackson. He'd always walk around like the frog, see? Meow, with a big Edward G. Robinson style.
This is a mega robusto. Look at the side.
It's a fucking hammer.
Yeah, it's a hammer.
Yeah. That's an Armie Hammer.
Monster.
It's an Armie Hammer.
Oh, we should talk about Armie Hammer.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about him first. I'll change the title of the thing later. Let's talk about Armie Hammer. Do you guys know who Armie Hammer is? He's an actor.
Armie Hammer. You know what's funny about that guy is, I know you didn't watch the show, but I remember hearing his name for the first time on Entourage, because they used to have a lot of cameos, and they were like, Armie Hammer. And I was like, who the fuck is Armie Hammer? And, he's a big, very good looking guy. He's very, very tall. And
he is good looking.
He's a very handsome man.
Yeah.
I've seen him in a lot of stuff now. I saw him in the remake of Rebecca, the Daphne du Maurier story that was so brilliantly played years and years ago with Laurence Olivier. Joan Fontaine, which is a masterpiece. It's Hitchcock's American directorial debut, as a matter of fact. And I was like, oh, this is going to be shit. And it was freaking great. He did a great job as Maxim. I thought it was sensational. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. I saw that movie, finally got to see Call Me by My Name, Call You by My Name.
Call Me by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name, which was a beautiful story, beautifully acted. My first Timothy Chalamet experience, and it was great. You didn't see it, right? You said you turned it off. It was a little too homoerotic.
No, I didn't turn it off. I watched it. I just found it. I found it a tad gratuitous sometimes. The sexuality.
Well, right. It was a bit homoerotic, if you will. But I liked the way that they played the story, because it was straight guys apparently who fell into this thing, but his acting was superb.
Yeah, and now Timothy Chalamet, that's when everybody started to really take him seriously as an actor, I think.
Yeah. And now he's in everything. He's the guy.
He's been in everything now.
And he's like a total little natty little twink too. So now apparently his pillow talk has become dirty laundry. Let's cut to the chase. He's been accused of cannibalism, though he's never eaten anyone. It's a lot of fantasy chat. And broke up his marriage. He apparently was, had a couple of infidelities about girls who say he was possessive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And after watching the Bill Cosby documentary, I certainly don't want to shame victims, because that happens. But what a shame, because this guy had promising careers. Some people just can't keep their mouth shut and can't keep it in their pants.
Yeah, so the controversy has been going on for a while, but now there's been a movie made, a documentary made, correct?
Yes, and it is about to debut, and we both saw the trailer and we're like, what? Boy. It's a bunch of girls saying all the creepy stuff he did. He's apparently very creepy on the sexual front. Yes. There's a lot of fetishy stuff. He wanted some blood to be involved, some bondage to be involved, and he talks about eating them. And it's not good. It's not good for Armie Hammer. But he's apparently in the Bahamas now, working at a hotel as a concierge or selling timeshares or something. So
is that a fact?
That's what the reports are. But meanwhile, he is the grandson of Armie Hammer, from like Armie Hammer, the baking
the family are important. They're a powerful family.
They are.
They're wealthy already.
French Jewish family.
And Mr. Badges, I am drinking just a little white wine. I have to take it easy with the booze right now, guys. Not in the best of health. So a little white wine. Saturday night. It's late here. It's after 12 in Italia. I'm going to bring up Nathaniel, because I know he would super chat this if he were able, but he's in Great Britain at the moment, I believe, and he's not allowed to super chat because it doesn't recognize his position. His geographical position is what I mean. The book Call Me by Your Name is much more obscene than the film, and the younger character is the predator.
He was in the movie as well, though. He was the aggressor. He really was in the movie. I found him to be the aggressor.
Yeah.
Armie Hammer seemed to his character tried to brush him off a bit, but then whatever happened. But it was a very interesting. His father is a tenured professor who brings young professors over to their Italian lakeside country retreat, right. And for the season, and I guess they read and do professorial things, etc. Thank you, Carolyn. Carolyn just gave us a lovely super chat.
Oh, she did?
She did. Thank you.
The woman is a saint, I swear to God.
Thank you, darling.
If I could tell you what she's done for the channel, you wouldn't believe it.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Thank you, darling. Did she have a question too? No.
She doesn't.
Well, if you have a question, darling, please will be our
Bring
honor.
it on. Let us hear your query. Bring it on.
Armie Hammer was born in Los Angeles on August 28th, 1986. He's a young fella.
He's a young guy. He's just so big
Descendant
and
of
manly.
oil
He doesn't look
tycoon.
that young.
Right,
You know?
and he has a big he has a very big like
Oh,
a
his
voice
voice
like
is
that.
amazing.
Yeah, he has a
It's so
very
good.
deep, like a very matter of fact, kind of beautiful, big,
So
silky
deep and
American
resonant, yeah.
voice. Yeah,
Very deep and resonant. Yeah.
yeah.
It's so crisp and clear, and his diction is
His
spectacular.
diction is beautiful. Yeah, he's the descendant of oil tycoon Armand Hammer. So anyway, it turns out, I mean, women obviously jump at a fella like this. He's beautiful. He's tall. He's,
Really 6'5". He's
Oh, I forgot he played those
Social
brothers
Network, yeah.
in the Social Network. I forgot about that. That's funny. Okay, I recently saw him in that silly movie, the Murder on the Orient Express, not the Orient Express, but the other one where on the Nile.
Death on the
Death
Nile. Yeah, that was an alright movie. That Israeli shrew is in it, so I hate watching anything that she's in. She's such a smug witch. I hate her. I cannot stand her.
She is a little intolerable.
She's smug.
She's not even an actor. She's just a tall, successful model who got into movies. But then there's a lot of them. So is Amber Heard. She's a tall, successful model.
Oh yeah, and she's certainly Lady Olivier. My God, she's
following the success of The Social Network. Hammer landed roles in a few critically panned films. Panned, good word, including The Lone Ranger in 2013. He didn't appear in any theatrical films again until 2015. Here's the big one, Call Me By Your Name, 2017. So he's kind of a sexual predator, apparently. Likes to tie women up.
Is that true? Oh, okay.
Well, he does like brutal tying up. And in that, hey, that's not illegal if the woman's down for it. Yeah. I was watching the commercial going, I think he just met the wrong girls, because I think I know some girls would be into that and they wouldn't go on a show and complain about it. But apparently he'd tie them down to the bed with ropes, do all sorts of things. He would text them and say he wants to eat their flesh and so on. So now it's all coming out. And we're in the era of scandal. I mean, that the scandals are the flavor of the day at the moment. Yeah. With the Tinder swindler and all of that.
Yeah, my good friend Mary, we used to joke about like particular men and stuff, and she used to have a joke about guys when they're really good looking. She goes, "I'd let him hit me." And it was like, I would imagine that there's probably quite a number of women out there that wouldn't mind whatever kind of game he likes to play. But then again, would that not be interesting to a guy like him? Like Cosby was young, handsome, talented, rich, muscular, an athlete, and he could have had sex with whomever he wanted, but he needed them to be unconscious.
I mean, yeah, that's a problem.
That's a problem. Now, Armie Hammer, for all the girls that probably threw themselves at him, he probably didn't want that. He probably wanted the girls he could manipulate.
There's your favorite couple right there.
Oh yeah, and did you know? I'll say this about Kenneth Branagh, who directed that film.
Yes,
The Orient Express being a far better film. He didn't cut him out. Like he didn't cancel him in the film. He was there. It just wasn't as big a role as he probably had.
Well, he would have had to go back and reshoot.
Yeah, and he just said, "No, I'm not going to do it."
I mean, I often wonder about that when they have to reshoot a damn film.
Kevin Spacey, all the money in the world.
Yes, who was the
Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer, the late Christopher Plummer,
correct? The late great Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, great.
What another
great man. I know people who know him or knew him in person in real life, and also attested to the fact that he was a wonderful individual and a great drinker. By the way, a great drinker. I always like a good drinker. I don't trust a non-drinker. They can be.
They fucked it up somehow, and they're taking it out on everybody else. That's generally how it works.
But Now there are some people who never touch drink, which is a little odd to me. Okay, fine. But that's fine. That's a personal decision. But it's also like, haven't you ever seen the world from any other perspective? Like, it might help if you do that. By the way, I'm wearing the Explorer 2 tonight, guys. I assume Dirk is wearing his Speedy.
I am not. I'm wearing my moonshite that I bought on this show.
Oh, can we talk about that?
We can. I'm wearing it. Look at it.
I love it. Your strap is way off. Did you see how messed up your strap? All the OCD freaks are gonna go.
I don't know how I did that. I didn't know. There you go.
It actually looks nice, man.
Oh, it's great looking. And I beat the shit out of it. I've prepared a little thing for it for us all. Ready? So here we go. So I got it. I bought it on the show 2 weeks ago. And this is it. It didn't come in the box or anything. But here we go.
Did you do an unboxing? Oh, you did a little photo montage. Look at that.
Photo montage.
So just to bring everybody up to speed, last week I showed a fake moon swatch I had bought from AliExpress, which was pretty awful. And I featured it actually in my video the other day, kind of up near magnets, because who cares? And Dirk had also ordered one that took longer to get there. His is much higher quality. In fact, is it safe enough to say that it's even better than the real thing, or?
Well, I would say it's probably commensurate with the real thing because they nailed everything about it. The only thing I would say that's slightly off about it, because listen, the Moon Swatch by Swatch is a fake Speedmaster made out of plastic with a battery. So whoever made this in China did the exact same thing. They obviously mirrored it because even I have a Lume shot. It's pretty great. They got the dial, step down dial. All the colors are accurate. All of the indices are perfect. The lettering is perfect. Everything about it. It's got the flyback. Here's the back. They got that all right.
That looks really good. Yeah. I mean, for what it is.
And then how about this? Look at that.
Wow.
That's the Lume on it.
The ambience around the room looks quite bright.
It was in a bright room. I went out on my patio, came into my living room, where it was
still bright enough to come out like that. Wow.
There's the only caveat is that this is the Mission to Mercury, and the strap, while very high quality Velcro, perfect lettering, the actual fabric on it is not as mylar, as reflective as from what I've seen the real accurate moon swatches to be. It's a little bit more on the gray side than the silvery side.
Right.
And this is it in the wild. And it just looks great. It wears great. I took it to work. I dunked it in water. It was I washed. Yeah. Looks great, right?
Now, I mean, that's 42 mils, man. That sits really well on your wrist.
Yeah, it does. It's really, really nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Here's my water shot, right? This was going into I was cleaning a big bucket of booze that I pre-make cocktails in. And I submerged it, and it's hit water about 10, 15 times. Not a trace of leakage, nothing. And it's really
you'll only find out when the thing just stops.
When it stops.
A few days.
Yeah. So I love it. I think it's great. And I feel.
And how much did you pay?
I paid $26 with tax, $32.14 for
did you wait? And did you wait all night outside the store?
I didn't do any of the above. I did, however, go when the Moon Swatch came out. I did go to every location in New York twice, looking to buy at least two of them. And Omega just doesn't, or Swatch, Nick especially doesn't want me to have it. He doesn't want one of the biggest Speedmaster enthusiasts in the world to have one. So, you know what? I got it from China. And since it's a fake of a fake, this is a fake of a fake of a fake. So, hey, and it does the same stuff.
And it looks the same, feels the same, weighs the same.
It's just absolutely
Now
Really
the
comfortable.
chrono hand, when you engage, do you leave it engaged? You may as well, right? Because
I don't have it engaged now, but
okay,
I certainly can.
and you're not ruining any mechanics by leaving
It's
it
a quartz.
engaged. Yeah. So now does it sweep or does it tick every second?
No, it sweeps. But it's not
So it's
super
tick,
smooth.
tick, 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 tick.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
So I would say every quarter second. It ticks on every quarter second.
That's better. I think that's
Does
better.
the moon swatch go to every second?
I believe the moon swatch when you engage. Can anybody confirm this? Anybody got a moon swatch in the audience? I think when you engage the chrono, let me go full screen. It goes kick, kick. And it goes like 1,
Oh no, this
2,
does not do
3.
that.
1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000.
No. No, it's several ticks per second.
You know, it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
It looks
and
pretty
it feels
damn
great.
good.
It's super light. It's really comfortable.
It has the step down dial, all that stuff.
It has the step down dial with the slight variation in it's black and gray. And you know what I think? I thought the crystal was hesselite plastic, but now I think it might not be. But I think it's just very thin because I was looking at it, and then I actually rubbed against a wall today, a rough brick wall,
and there's no sign.
That's the end. Not an ounce.
So it's a sapphire crystal. That's what that other chap was saying, and a few other reviews. People are saying some of the fake ones have a real sapphire crystal on them.
Wow.
Now, does yours have the little S in the center?
It does not.
It does not.
No, I looped it. Let's see. I mean, I could try it again. Maybe I'll use the more.
Isn't it crazy? Like, for me, if you can get all 12 of them or 11 of them, how many are there? 12 or 11? I can't remember.
Sun.
If you can get them, if you can get the whole bunch for $30 each in these fake versions, why not? It's the same thing, right? It's not like you're going to be staring at the thing going, "Oh God, it's not." You know, it doesn't have the horology. You know what I mean?
There is no horology.
There is no horology.
It's a toy. Yeah. It's a teddy bear or a fire truck. It's just a thing with a battery, and it looks like a Speedmaster. It wears great. It doesn't seem to leak. It's got flyback. It's pretty cool. And I didn't have to pay $260 for it.
Or wait outside.
Yeah, I just am so pissed at Nick at Swatch for being so arrogant that I think everybody should go out and buy a fake one because it's fake anyway. It's fake. And this is pretty damn good. It's like buying a lithograph.
Let's see the back of that thing again. You have the power there.
I do.
Yeah, that's, not bad. No, and that loom shot.
Sorry for being out of focus, but
that's all right. You can still see that the loom is strong. I don't think there's very little loom on my little fake one. There's definitely a difference in the quality of fake, which would be, consistent with the fake world. Because, if you want to buy a fake Rolex Submariner, there are so many different levels, Yeah,
you'd have
there's
to go
the $50 thing to the $1,000 thing. You can spend $1,000 on an amazing fake.
Yeah, the VFS factory and the VS factory at Noob Watch. Those are the big ones.
I see.
$1,000.
Wow.
They fake the movement and everything. There's plenty of YouTube videos of those guys. There's one guy, forget his name, but he just only buys the best fakes that there are. I mean, I don't know what his point of any of that is, but hey. But it's just a plastic watch with a battery in it, and it looks exactly like the one,
Dude, that wears really well on you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Wow.
Looks great. Yeah.
And all right.
Yeah.
$30. Can't argue.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see if it starts to fall apart like Adrian's one.
I'll let everybody know when that happens. Wouldn't
it
be funny if mine doesn't?
Off. Yeah, but it'd be funny if yours in 3 years is still
the pushers
chug it
are,
away.
yeah, they're not mechanical. They're censored. So basically, if you want to engage it, you tap it or tap it twice. It's haptic.
Yes.
There is this. These do not move. The pushers do not move. They're haptic. So if you, yeah, I just did the flyback. Man, I don't know if I can get that to work on screen, but if I can, let's see. It's really very cool. Let's see. I probably can. You ready? So let's start off here. Right?
There you go. Perfect. That's perfect there. Yeah, you see it's sweeping.
It's hard to do it backwards. Hold on.
Yeah. It's sweeping. There you go.
Come on. It's just
Oh, you're doing the there it goes.
Isn't that great?
Now mine does it, but it goes back to 2 minutes past 12. Like it's not aligned. It's a
dead the fuck on. Dead on.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a piece of shit, but you know what? It was. I had a couple of beers on iBashers, and I bought it, and it showed up, and it was shockingly good.
For $30, how can you go wrong? It's a bottle of wine, man, or not even, right?
Please.
Not for us, right? Not a bottle of wine for us.
I haven't bought a bottle of wine for $30.
For $30. Well, I have
years.
Because I live in a
because you live in
Venice, so cheap,
yeah.
but normally.
I bought that Baltus today online. I got it.
Oh, you got the Baltus?
Yeah, I got it for $45.
Wow.
We used to drink this this wine because we're big French fans, and we're drinking drinking first growth, second growth Bordeaux. But we found out about this micro oxygenated wine that was made by Chateau Regnac, and it was beating Petrus and Lafite Rothschild and all these great wines. So we got it, and we loved it for a long. There it is. We loved it. But we haven't drank it in years. So I bought a bottle to see if it's still good. Oh, look at that. Is that a Magnum down there? What the
the big one there.
Look at that. Can you click on that? I want to see what that is.
If I do, it'll open a new window. Now I'll have to share that window. Oh, there's tons of them. Sorry. We've gone totally off the point. Anyway.
The
screen sharing thing is nonsense because it doesn't follow the other screens. But anyway. Yes, that is the Baltus.
Yeah.
That's Stephanie and Ves Vatelot.
Yeah, Vatelot. Yeah.
Vatelot. The two of them were, I believe, they were in the lingerie business.
So
and they made a lot of money, and then they moved to France and bought a vineyard, Chateau Regnac, which had been kind of abandoned since the early 90s. They fixed it up. They hired some great people, and they made a very, very interesting wine. And they did an interesting job on it, triple distilling it to speed up the aging process.
Yeah, but not fined.
Is it not fined?
Not fined.
Oh,
nope.
Is it? No, but in
so
the glass
suitable for vegetarians.
Okay, because they're not using ox's blood. Well, that stopped it in
fish bladders.
97, 98.
They use the fish bladders, don't
it's
they?
Albumin. They'll probably use egg white or just powdered albumin to find the wine. Yeah. But I think it's a fine wine. Are you talking about the sediment at the very end, at the last glass?
Well, the process of finding it is, it says when you read about Baltus, it goes, this unfined wine.
Oh.
On their website. I was on there.
Yeah. I never noticed it be cloudy or anything in the glass.
No.
Anyway, guys, this is a very interesting wine because it beat out a lot of wines in blind taste tests with these experts from France, uber, snobby experts up against bottles that are $5,000 and so on. And these bottles are like $30, $40. So you couldn't buy it in America. At all. It was not distributed in America. To sell wine or any booze in America requires an enormous amount of work. There's a huge distribution red tape system
Mafia.
going. Yeah, it's a big it's a big deal to get your wine into the American market, and Then there's the wine bids website that we were all wise to years ago in our little wine club there in New York. And we discovered Balthus, and we ordered, somebody had brought in a few cases. They'd flown back clearly from France, flown back to the States, and they put them up on wine bid in the States. We bought every last
bottle.
Oh my God.
We sure.
How many bottles did we purchase? Like
cases.
Cases of them, yeah.
I had 2 cases of the Superior, the Reserva. You had like 2-3 cases over at the kids' house. Dana be sending me a case of wine. I'd be sending her a case of wine. It was just ridiculous. We bought all of the Baltus that came into America. We bought it.
You know what our problem was? We had a taste for fine French wine.
Yeah.
And that shit is $300, $400 and up.
Sure.
So we found a way to drink beautiful French wine made in Bordeaux that was, and get hammered.
Yeah, for 20 something by the case, it was 20 something dollars a bottle.
That's what we did.
Because previous to that, I mean, we could go through the archives and show all the pictures on that table of all the bottles of wine that ever crossed the kid's table. I mean, the kids being his brother and his sister-in-law, Dana. I mean, everything from Petrus to Rothschild to Cheval Blanc, everything. Yeah. But then, we got, still in a way obsessed with Pichon Longueville, Comtesse de Lalonde, which you can get for $200 if you're lucky. But, if you're looking for a great vintage, you're paying $275 for a bottle of wine.
Blondie time. Blondie is here. Hello from the Post Beach Outdoor Shower. She's at the beach. She's getting all tanned, beautiful. Tans very well for an Irish American girl. And so she's out at the beach. Shane McQuirk, didn't Adrian's pushers fall off within a few days? They did. Mm-hmm. They certainly did. Or at least one of them, the upper pusher, which must be very annoying, even though it was only $250 or £200 watch to him. He's dealing in pounds. Still, you don't want that to happen.
No, I mean, because he paid the full freight. I mean, if this thing explodes tomorrow, I'll be like, all right.
Yeah, just buy another one if you can.
Yeah, I mean, the store that I bought it from is no longer there. I bought it on AliExpress. It got shut down.
They were too good. That was the problem. They got shut down.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, does it feel like plastic? Or I don't know what bioceramic feels like, so I can't make the comparison. It doesn't exactly feel like plastic, though. It feels it almost feels like stone. It's a very strange kind of texture. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's, plastic. I guess bioceramic is some kind of new plastic, right?
But I think it's a fancy word for plastic.
Yeah. And
it's Nathaniel, like calling a window cleaner a visual technician,
Oh, wow. The alignment is absolutely perfect. I aesthetically, it's spot on. It really, when you look at it, like a guy said to me today, he goes, "Oh, you got a Speedy on a NATO." I went, "No, this is a Chinese knockoff of a moon swatch." And he goes, "I don't know what that means." I said, "Well," he goes, "Well, it looks exactly like a Speedmaster," and it does, because it's an homage watch. So all homage watches are probably not created equal, but this one's okay, so no problems.
So during the week, of course, Trump's Mar-a-Lago home was raided. I put up a thing on my Instagram, a response from Aaron Taylor Cohen. I don't know if you like his channel and follow his channel. He's smart guy, political guy, very obviously on the left and the Democrat side, but I enjoy his commentary. But let me pull it up. I put it up on my Instagram, and of course, felt the ire of those who do not align themselves, and a lot of people were like, "Are you happy? Did you think it was worth it? And I'm like, don't you guys know I'll come in hardcore. I don't care. Basically, here I am trying to talk and search for the thing at the same time. Anyway,
which we're too old to do.
It's not Aaron Taylor Cohen, it's Brian Tyler Cohen. See, that's how much I know.
Is that the Eagle guy?
No. Cohen, let me see. Recent. So, of course, everybody went nuts about what happened, or at least certainly the left. Okay, now I can get it up.
What was the right?
Now I can get it up. That doesn't sound right.
But
and it's just obviously, I have a lot of viewers from different sides, and a lot of people, siding with that video, and a lot of people coming in saying, screw that, and, make America great again. And then some people with a bit more, more clever stuff saying, oh, actually the technical side of the raid was a little bit different. Let me pull this up. Have you got volume there? Can you hear that?
I can hear it.
Yeah, it's just an app.
I think that there are a lot of questions that we justifiably have, and we want answers, because if the FBI can do this to President Donald Trump, they can do it to you, and the American people know.
That's the scare
Think
tactic.
about this. If this is what they're able to do to the former president of the United States, think about what they could do to you, to anybody in America.
Yes, exactly. If they can raid the home of a former president when he steals classified documents from the White House, just imagine what they can do to you when you steal classified documents from the White House. They can also raid your home. And let's be clear, this talking point wasn't just a one-off. It wasn't just Marsha Blackburn and Laura Trump. Here's conservative commentator Liz Wheeler. If they can do this to the former POTUS, think about what they can do to you. The difference is when they try to do it to you, no one will know. The GOP House Judiciary account. If they can do it to a former president, imagine what they could do to you. Elise Stefanik. If the FBI can raid a U.S. president, imagine what they can do to you. Here's Republican lawmaker Mike Garcia. If they can do this to a former president, imagine what they can do to middle-class America with 87,000 IRS agents. That last one's my favorite. Imagine what they're going to do with 87,000 IRS agents. I don't know, finish our national backlog of tax returns? Here's the thing about this talking point in particular. It betrays the entire conservative worldview, which, to be clear, has nothing to do with law and order. They believe to their core that Trump is above the law. That's why they're losing their minds. Listen to exactly what they're saying. If they can do this to the former president, suggesting that he, of all people, should clearly have some type of immunity from prosecution. Clearly, he shouldn't be subjected to the same laws that bind everyone else. If they can hold to account the one guy who we've all decided can commit crimes with impunity, then maybe, just maybe, the standard of equal justice applies. The horror. Here's the thing. The simple answer here, when a Republican has a fainting spell about the FBI being able to go after anyone, is yeah, if you're suspected of committing a crime, law enforcement can raid your home too if they get a search warrant signed by a federal magistrate after showing probable cause, because no one is above the law, even your deity, Donald Trump. So frankly, other than betraying the fact that they earnestly believe Donald Trump to be above the law, I'm not sure what kind of an impact this line is supposed to have on people. Are Gary and Barbara sitting on their couch in their home in Missouri going to barricade the doors now because of an impending FBI raid? Do they
Gary
really
and
think
Barbara
people are going to be worried that this is some new standard being set here? And look, that's not to say that all those folks out there who've taken 15 boxes of classified documents from the White House shouldn't be worried, but I'm pretty sure that most people don't fall into that category. But that brings me to this pretty simple rule of thumb. If you don't want to be raided by the FBI, maybe don't do crimes. All of these Republicans are losing their minds about the politicization of the FBI and claiming that this is the worst miscarriage of justice in U.S. history and likening it to the Gestapo and just generally running around with their hair on fire. And yet none of them are acknowledging the cause of this, which is that Trump is believed to have broken the law. And look, I'm not denying that this is a big deal, but it's also not terribly surprising that someone who broke the law is now caught up in the gears of the legal system. But Republicans don't want to acknowledge that part because taking responsibility doesn't mesh well with their priority of victimhood. If those people conceded that the whole reason for the raid was Trump's illegal activity, then they'd feel pretty dumb pretending that he's some innocent victim in all of this who wouldn't even pay a dime less than what he owed on his taxes, much less commit any serious offenses. And so instead, they leave that part out and they pretend that Trump is the victim. They pretend that Biden's trying to take down Trump ahead of 2024. They pretend that Democrats are afraid of his candidacy. They pretend that this is the weaponization of the Justice Department. They pretend that this is political retribution for January 6th, all to distract you from the only real answer here. Law enforcement had probable cause to execute the raid. A federal magistrate agreed, and the search warrant was granted. It is as simple as that. So maybe, just maybe, we recognize that not everything is a grand conspiracy. And maybe, just maybe, we stop taking our cues from the same people who think that Hugo Chavez helped Joe Biden steal the last election and replace our ballots with ones covered in bamboo fibers. The conspiracy theorists will always conjure up a brand new absurd excuse, so long as it's not the one excuse that's inconvenient for them.
It's a good channel. He's
I have watched that guy. Yeah, he's terrific. Yeah. I have seen
he is good. So I put up a clip. I didn't put up that entire thing, but I put up a major chunk of it.
Yeah, it was good.
To me, it's everything that is wrong. It's like it's that old thing. I mean, you keep talking about it. Nothing is real anymore. Nothing is true anymore. There's no such thing as truth
until it is, though. Like when you find out your kid is a serial killer. No, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good. You want to believe it, and then you find out he's got jars filled with people's spleens.
Can you remember that film? Beautiful. It was a Beautiful Boy. Maria Bello.
Oh, I love her.
Maria, a beautiful woman. Turns she's lesbian. When I discovered that, I was like, what a terrible. I mean, I don't
terrible for you.
I mean, yeah. Well, like, oh, she's so beautiful. And Kate Beckinsale's ex, Michael, British actor, Michael. He's gone. His name's gone out of my head. But they're the parents of one of those school shooter kids, and the police arrive. Can you imagine when the police arrive at your door and you hear there's a shooting and you're like, oh my God, our child is there. The police arrive at your door and your first thought is, oh my God, they've come to say our son has been killed.
Yeah.
But then instead they say your son is the guy who killed 30 kids. And it's they're grappling with that situation. Very interesting film. I think it's called Beautiful Boy.
Oh boy.
Anyway, until you're right, until it's not, until the truth comes out.
The truth is much harder to prove now because of deepfake, because of Photoshop, because of all the ways they can say it. Like perfect example is Brian just showed us all the reactions from the far right saying if they can do it to him, it's going to happen to you, and that scares the bejesus out of
the fear mongering. It's a moment for finger. Oh my God, they're going to kick in your door. A lot of gun ownership in the States is based on that. Like, oh well, what if the government turns tyrannical? I need to be able to defend my. I always think to myself, you think your little pistol or your AR-15 is going to defend you from? Well, you think like the government, like the most amazing military in the world. Like, unless you have an airstrip in your back garden and an F-22 Raptor handy, I don't think you're going to last more than about 30 seconds against a tyrannical American government if they turn the military on you. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Anyway, it's all about that gripping your gun and, cowering in your home going, when are the communists going to come? And
that's schizophrenia.
What's the old the Allen Ginsberg? They're going to steal our cars from our garages or grab Chicago. The old fear, the fear mongering. It's like it's a huge thing.
I have a friend, a very close friend, who keeps telling me, the Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Collect, take all your money out of your bank accounts. Get all your civil defense goods together. That the federal government, John F. Kennedy, who's still alive, John F. Kennedy Jr., is working with Donald Trump, and they're going to come up with this new world order. It's going to be a new party, and it's going to be a panacea for the rest of us. And they're going to give us every citizen of America is going to get $100,000 and be put in the new Trump bank. This is all stuff that this person gets from the dark web.
Yeah.
All these, you wouldn't believe what's on the dark web. I've personally never been on there. because I'm not looking to get in with little girls or little boys or whatever far crazy political shit goes on there. I don't want to know what goes on there, but the stuff that does, and there's no talking to this person. There is no talking to them.
Yeah, there is.
It's
Yeah,
fact.
once they're convinced. Also, it becomes. I think personally, I think there's a nature, and the left are guilty of this. Everyone's guilty of this. You wind up in a team. It's a team mentality. You find the same thing as soccer and baseball. Oh no, our team is the greatest. Yeah, but you've lost the past 20 years. Doesn't matter. We're still the greatest. There's like a denial once you choose your tribe. So a lot of people, I find personally in politics, it happens the same here in Italy. A lot of people choose the fascists, or they choose the communists. The right, or the right is the fascists, the left is the commies, and they just can't accept any other message because their whole world will crumble. That means my dad is a moron.
Then you're complicit and many things.
Yeah, it's like it means everything in your world doesn't make sense.
On your face. It's
it doesn't make sense. You have
that's true, but that's true for us too. For us, I hate to say that because I'm far more moderate than I am far left. But people who say stuff about Joe Biden's, Joe Biden can't do anything. He's the guy's, he's inept. And he's asleep, and he's not really capable of doing anything. So he's not mobilizing, or he's not doing anything.
I would say he's a benign. He's a somewhat benign president. If I can say something good about Trump, is that he was not benign.
Far from it.
He went and he met with Kim Jong-un. Like he did it, and even though it was a farce and it was like two children meet each other in the play park, whatever, at least he did it. So it's like he's not benign. Joe Biden is somewhat benign. I personally kind of like a benign president because to me a benign president doesn't make rash decisions, is not vain and things like that. But I know America wants. They want a hard president.
They want John F. Kennedy. They want Ronald Reagan. They want those guys. Type A. I'm going to lead you to the promised land.
Right.
Maya Angelou, Proverbs, and all that shit. Like whenever I hear, this is going to get me in a lot of hot water. But like whenever you watch,
and therefore get me in hot water.
Yeah. Whenever you watch Oprah or any of that crap, they're always bringing up these people who will like take a quote from, some poet laureate, all these sayings and all of this stuff to make us all fucking make our vaginas feel better. It's just such hogwash. Like whenever you hear like some kind of like self-help books and stuff like that, maybe I'm just incapable of.
This is an interesting tangent. How does this connect with
because that's the kind of leader they want. They want the leader that's going to come out with the I have a dream speech. They want the guy that's going to set the world on fire with these words that made you weep in rapture. That's what they want.
Well, that is a big difference.
Like,
Well, now you've just touched on a big difference between politics in the United States and most of Europe. The leaders over here are quite boring because they just have a lot of paperwork to get through. And they're not necessarily charismatic characters because, running a country is actually it's a fiscal position. You're kind of at the head of a business. You're like Jeff Bezos. You're kind of a little bit boring. And God knows Jeff Bezos tries to make himself interesting as much as he can. But actually, he's just a businessman. And businessmen are pretty boring, really, because they have business to take care of. They're not lead singers of a band.
Coke off their boobs.
Yeah, until they run into hot water. Right? But the wild countries like Cuba and they mentioned Hugo Chavez there, or at least Brian did. These are countries that have a lot in common with the United States. They have these leaders who get up and scream a little bit like Adolf Hitler, scream into the microphone and have all sorts of charging commentary to make. The leaders here in Italy have been boring for so long. The last interesting member of parliament in Italy was Cicciolina.
She's a porn
she became
star.
a member of parliament. Yeah,
She did. Cicciolina.
and that was actually a political statement. I used to think that represented how stupid politics is in Italy. Actually, her political statement was, "Do you see how politics can be manipulated in Italy?" All I had to say is massage my nipples, and you can massage my nipples, and if you vote for me, you can massage my nipples. That was her thing.
Oh, was that it?
And then she got, she became an MP. So it's like amazing. It was a political statement, like how absurd politics can be. So it was actually a little bit of depth in it, believe it or not. The woman isn't as silly as some people would like to think. Anyway, I digress completely.
Let's stop
get
for
back
one
to
quick
the
second.
actual.
One quick second, and
Yes.
I just gleaned from the side view
Mhm.
that Holden Caulfield lost his mom, and
Holden,
we would
Jesus.
just like to send our condolences to you. As you know, I just lost mine. So, and Paul just lost his aunt 2 weeks ago. So, like, we're like, it's a big thing, and man,
Oh my
it's
God,
not
I'm
easy.
so sorry,
it's not
Holden.
easy. Holden, we're so very sorry.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm not reading the comments, Holden. Sorry, guys. Oh my God. So sorry about that, Holden.
Yes. So,
well, how do we come back from that?
so we won't go too hard on you tonight.
No. Hey, listen, we listen to everyone. Obviously, if
Yeah.
you super chat it, it'll make it easier for us to identify the comment, because a lot of comments are coming in.
They come in fast, and it's hard to see them all.
But well, if we can get back to the point, so what happened now? The judge, it came out that the judge who signed the Mar-a-Lago search warrant has been swarmed with death threats, and has had his address leaked by the MAGA crowd, and they threatened to put a rope around his neck. Classic stuff, This is the class. This is the kind of classy guys you're dealing with, right?
Aren't they all so shit? All of them, though. Isn't that all crap?
What do you mean? All as in both sides?
Yeah,
Or
both sides suck. It's all crap. Like, for somebody said to me the other day, if Jesus came back to the world, we would shoot him or lock him up.
Right.
Somebody truly pure and wonderful. I'm not hate to be so pessimistic, but man, it's very hard to see even the local government where people start and might not be corrupted yet and might have an inkling of how to help. Eventually they get chewed up by that machine and the ego and all that crap.
Well, I just find that in general, because I've come up against it on the channel and so on, I just find that the left may whine and complain and argue, but the right get down to threats. The right are the threats, guys. I'll come and shoot you. That's their style. That's what they like to say. That's what they like. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. You're not safe. And that to me just says it all. I really think if the tables were turned and the left thought that their government was the election was being stolen, I don't think they would have ever stormed the Capitol. It's the right and the kind of fringe right guys, the guys with the guns and all of that shit. They're ready for that. That's what they want. This is their
not
style.
Even the real gun guys, though. Like the real gun guys are the guys that you never see their guns. They have a ranch. They have a family of kids. These are these Trump Confederate flag waving bozos that have AK-47s and AR-15s. Those guys, those are the guys that would kick your fucking ass at a bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are tough, they're patriots too. Not this fringe shit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. There's two different kinds of American gun owner. One is a silent guy who's
silent. They're the real
he's
ones.
a family man, and he's safe with his weapon and so on. And then there's the other guys who watch YouTube videos about hiding in the forest and
all of that shit.
Fighting the communists. This is from Chris Johnson.
Fighting and the communists.
The communists who are going to steal your cars from your garages or grab
Chicago.
Chris Yancing, NBC has obtained a Mar-a-Lago search warrant. It shows Donald Trump is under investigation for potential obstruction of justice and violations of the Espionage Act. Yeah. Interesting. I mean,
apparently
he may not be guilty of it,
but
if they have reason to believe, they can storm your. Now, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, it's not a good. Why didn't Hillary? Why didn't they
lock her up?
Not lock her up, but investigate." Well, they did. They did. Now, their findings were that she was irresponsible.
Yeah.
And they decided not to press charges. And a lot of people might say, "Oh, well, that's because of her political influence and so on." Okay, well, maybe that was. Who knows? But I just feel like a lot of them felt she should have been pressed for her possible crimes. Now he's under, investigation for possible crimes, and they're not happy with them moving in on him. He's a private citizen now. He's no longer a president.
Yeah. She
was Secretary of State at the time. So it's, the double standards are just popping out all over the place here.
Sure.
The investigation, the search warrant identifies 3 possible federal crimes as the reason behind the search: violations of the Espionage Act, obstruction of justice, and criminal handling of government records. I don't even think that he would deny this shit. I mean, this is the man who said, "I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and still get elected." Okay? The guy's got a lot of balls. Let's hand it to him, right? The guy's got unbelievable balls, and he'll do whatever, say whatever the hell he wants, and kind of just get away with it because he's so brash. And a lot of people love him for that kind of thing. I don't see why this is such a huge revelation or strange change of events with this guy. This guy's he's
the loosest cannon in the history of loose cannons.
Yeah. The only thing I have to say that I love
Snowflake.
I love about the guy is that I should say this. Trump's legal team agreed to release the historic search warrant. Earlier Friday, the Justice Department told a federal court. On Thursday, Attorney General Merrick Garland said to the Justice Department, filed a request to unseal the search warrant and property receipt from the search. One thing I do find that I do enjoy about the man, and somebody said that I'm very annoyed by him. I am not actually by Donald himself. No.
You're entertained, though.
I'm a little entertained. No, it's the people who voted for him. It's like he fucking.
Oh yeah,
like the man himself. Good look to him. I mean, it's amazing.
I agree. It's the dum-dums that have deified him. That's the problem.
Like he's their savior. Like
he's no deity.
This is a guy who he wouldn't even shake your hand if he met you on the street. Like,
no.
I have a story. Remind me of the golf story. I have a golf story.
Go.
By the way, I have a golf. Oh, I'll do it right now.
Do it now.
Okay, let's do it right now. So I'm watching this little documentary. The guy who really wrote The Art of the Deal, this Donald Trump book, The Art of it, was not written by Donald Trump.
No.
It was written by another chap. I can't remember his name now. But Donald Trump kind of signed off on it, and he was the broker of the book and the producer of the book. Look up his name, the guy who actually wrote it, The Art of the Deal. So he knows him quite well. And he was talking about, Donald likes to golf.
Tony Schwartz.
So Donald likes to golf, as we all know, right? It's his favorite thing to do. Okay.
And he sucks at it too, right? He's not a good golfer.
He's not great.
He cheats at golf.
He's not a remarkable golf player at all, right?
Everybody says he cheats.
Okay, so this is what he said. He said he cheats all the time with golf. Now, I know someone, let's not say his name, okay? But I know someone who's golfed with Donald, who knows Donald. In fact, when he was running and I was at this very good friend of mine's house, he was like, look, I love him and all, but I don't think he's qualified to be president. Like you should at least know the capital of most countries in the world. And I don't think Donald knows any of them. He said it like it's his friend. It's like, why is my friend running? Not that they're super, super big friends. Donald knows a lot of people in New York, but anyway, he's golfed with him. So I immediately get on the phone. I was like, dude, you've golfed with this guy. Is it true that he cheats? that he'll hit the ball and it won't go where he wanted it. So he sends one of his guys to run out, grab the ball, and put it where he wanted it to go. And he said, yeah, it's true. He does it. I'm like, dude, I hate golf. I don't give a shit about golf, right? But isn't golf all about honor and...
No, it's not about honor at all. It's about drinking.
No, but isn't it like sportsmanship? And you can't do things like that in golf.
Tennis is about sportsmanship. Golf is about drinking and being a man and being racist and not allowing blacks and Jews on your
except for Tiger Woods and so on. No,
that took a long time.
It took a long time.
The golf world has just been exclusionary as a rule of like a white man.
I was never a fan of golf. I always remember that scene in Falling Down with Michael Douglas. And he's like, you take all this land, there could be a play park here for children, but you're taking this, and the guy's four, and he hits the ball. Michael Douglas pulls out the shotgun. He's like, 5. It's great, right? But I said, isn't it all about like be a proper sportsman and blah blah blah. And I said, how could you stand playing golf with a guy who's literally, he's going to hit the ball that way. It goes over there and he gets one of his guys to change. And he goes, well, nobody would question him because he's the biggest man in the room. And in some cases, you're playing on his golf course. So he gets to do whatever he wants. And I just went, oh my God. So you just stood back and watched this guy just not even partake in the sport properly. And that's from the horse's mouth. This is a guy I've known for years.
This is Emperor's New Clothes shit,
So I just like this dude, and the fact that he would do it overtly in front of all his mates, like it's not even silent or, behind the curtain. It's absolutely like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just totally do that, and anybody has a problem, they can go home. That tells you everything you need to know, which is why I'm thinking, like, why is he denying this? Why isn't he just say, yeah, I took the goddamn documents. I don't want you to fucking see what's in them, and I don't give a shit, Just be Donald. Your fans will love you anyway. Right? They'll still back you up. It doesn't matter. Yeah, she was 17, but she looked 21. So,
she was just 17.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I told you that story about how my sister's friend's husband was managed the New Jersey golf course, and they lived on it, and he died unexpectedly. My sister couldn't go to the funeral, so she sent me to represent my family, and I went, and Donald gave the eulogy, and I have to say, it was the fucking funniest shit. It was really electric. He was terrific. It was a great thing. This is about 10, 12 years ago. And it was in Maspeth in Queens, because I guess that's where they're from. And it was like he was president then. There were like black town cars and security. It felt like like the Secret Service. But I gotta say, he was electric. He had something that you don't see people get up in front of a crowd and are able to do what he did. Right. It's he's a salesperson. He's regardless of whether it's snake oil or it isn't, he has that kind of personality that makes people flock to him, like televangelists do, like any kind of great orator. And people love to hear a guy say, it wasn't for those goddamn spics, and all the sluts, blunt, horrible language that they're like, I don't like those sluts and spics either. I don't like that shit. They're like, he's my guy. He's not going to allow any of those wetbacks in my country taking my jobs. And he's not even that kind of person, really. But because he was built, he was certainly not a Republican. He was built by the machinery to get him into the Republican National Convention, that they're like, this is what you got to do. Use your personality this way. So they gave him whatever information. Now all of a sudden he's talking about people stealing jobs and people stealing votes, and people
do like straight talk, especially in the United States. They're like a straight talker. That's why I don't know, like a super intellectual could never be president, because they like, the voting masses. They just like a straight down to earth talker, and it's refreshing to them, rather than hearing political answers Donald Trump had that and still has that weight, and that he may win in 2024 on the same basis, that he just fucking cuts through all the bullshit and goes, yeah, you'd be in jail. And, he says things that are hardcore. Beto O'Rourke as well. Did you see what he said the other day? He was talking about the shootings there in Texas. And there were some of his opponents there. Who's the other guy in the governor of Texas? The name escapes me. He sent some of his fellas there and so on. And O'Rourke even welcomed them and thanked them for being there to even hear his. But he was talking about the shooting and these children, dying and so on. And somebody starts laughing. It's a great clip. You should look it up. And he goes, you may think this is funny, motherfucker, but I don't. And I was like, wow. Wow. Tough. He just said, motherfucker. And I was like, you know what? He probably got the respect of a lot of people who don't like him now.
Who doesn't love that? Well, like when somebody calls somebody a cunt, I instantly like them.
Like them more.
Definitely. I do. I'm like, yeah, cunt.
You may think this is funny, motherfucker, but I don't.
I like that.
Wow. I was like, oh shit, he's got teeth. There's teeth on that fella.
Wow. And Beto O'Rourke, really?
Yeah, Beto O'Rourke. He just did it. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up. Let's see it.
Where it always, that's why Reagan was so popular, because he was the regular people's leader. He was the guy, he was the kind of chap that you respect. He reminds you of your dad, and he he didn't seem strange and elitist and distant, and he didn't use words people don't understand. Long word. He didn't say words like marmalade. long words like marmalade. I'm joking. But oh yeah, here's the clip. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can pull it up now. Yeah, it was kind of strong. A lot of people watching are, maybe hate this guy. I don't know.
Beto O'Rourke.
He's leftist, and he's not into.
That now 11 weeks since we lost 19 kids.
He wants gun control.
And their 2 teachers shot to death with a weapon originally designed for use in combat, legally purchased by an 18-year-old. Who did not try to obtain one when he was 16 or 17, but followed the law that's on the books, ladies and gentlemen, that says that you can buy not one, you can buy 2 or more if you want to, AR-15s, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and take that weapon that was originally designed for use on the battlefields in Vietnam to penetrate an enemy soldier's helmet at 500 feet and knock him down dead, up against kids at 5 feet. It may be funny to you, motherfucker, but it's not funny to me, okay?
Wow. I mean, listen to that. And he's right.
That's just that's America responding.
That's good, though. That's good stuff.
That may be funny to you, motherfucker.
Motherfucker. Because he means it. Yeah.
Yeah, he means it. And yeah, it's like, that's not a word that the Clintons ever used,
No, because they're such polished bullshit artists.
I'm going to change watch guys just to keep things interesting. Yeah, it's too polished. People don't trust polished.
It's just, like when Reagan would talk like that to people, blah, 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 blah. It's, people want to hear passion. That's why fascists did so well. They moved people.
Yeah, like, there's the AP. Like Hitler's speeches, there was a lot of, vigor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you remember that quote in The King's Speech, that movie with Colin Firth and Jeffrey Rush? And of course, he has the speech impediment. He's playing King George VI, and he has he's this very, very crippling stammer. And then he's watching a clip. He's watching news, and then a clip of Adolf comes up. And the kids are like, Daddy, what is he saying? You know, and he says, I don't know, but whatever he's saying it very well.
That's a great movie. I haven't seen it in a really long time.
Great movie, very powerful.
Who did that? Stephen Frears or King's
Very
Speech?
good question, Nathaniel. You're back. Passion
Nathaniel
is nice to hear,
will
but
know.
literally everything he said about the AR-15 was false.
In
Okay,
what
so
regard?
you can't buy it at 18. Back it up there. Back it
I
up
don't know what that
there,
means.
Nathaniel.
Everything
You
he said about that.
It wasn't designed as a combat rifle.
It's
And the
AR. AR stands for assault rifle.
It does not. It doesn't stand
does.
for no. It stands
it
for
doesn't,
something
huh?
else. I learned that recently because
Oh.
a lot when we talked about guns, a lot of people came in and started infiltrating me,
All
and
right. Hey,
signing
I
me
like
up
being wrong.
for stuff. No, AR stands for. It doesn't stand for assault rifle, and I think probably the writer like, oh, you see, the left are trying to manipulate what you think.
Who you calling
stands. You're not left, I know.
Not.
What does AR stand for, guys?
It could be a huge drum, but it wasn't designed.
Here
as
we
a
are.
combat
Nathaniel knows.
Armor
Light rifle. So it isn't, but still, it's a big bloody rifle. Like it's not, it's not for hunting, right, or whatever. It's for
it's for combat.
Guys.
It's to take out. Combat. It's to take out the gooks. That's what it was for. Right. Forgive me, but that's what it was for.
Kill people. Yeah, it's kill people.
What we used to say, we've got what is it? Amused to death. We've got Bermuda shorts. What do they have for the Japs?
The Bermuda shorts, yeah. All sorts of sports.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely meant to kill people. So,
well, all guns really are. I mean, they're not. They don't have another.
No, they're made to protect your country and your honor. And that's it.
Anyway, without getting into the gun thing too heavily,
boring. But Beto O'Rourke, very good job. It's nice to see a little bit of fire coming from a guy.
Well, he's in Texas, where it really matters.
Yeah,
it really matters in Texas.
The crowd certainly liked it.
Yeah, because it ain't funny. They're sick of this shit, And anyway, look. Getting back to the point, it's about the speaker who can really speak. Let's move on. Sorry, we're at 1 hour 17.
I'm gonna stop.
Salman Rushdie was. Oh, you want to hit that?
Yeah, I just want to hit that. The internet was designed for the military. No, it actually was designed for the library system.
Says the internet was designed for the military. Yes,
it was designed for the library because my mother was a librarian at St. John's University, and in the early 70s, it was designed for interlibrary loans, and that was the first practical application for the internet.
Yeah, it was bulletin boards that were connecting. I was there at the beginning of it. I remember signing it. Yeah, I remember dialing into it.
10 baud.
10, I had a 14 baud. I was fancy.
Oh, yeah. You were fancy. This is like my mom had this device in a room in the 70s in St. John's University in the main library building, where you would go into this room and you would take the receiver and put it on the box, and it would talk to the box. And then this, really ancient, it was a Tandy computer, Radio Shack.
Yeah.
And you would be able to, I think it was St. John's, Rutgers, Columbia, Yale, and a couple of other Harvard, because the Ivy League libraries have some incredible reference material. So
I remember the bulletin board systems because they were servers, and you could dial into your local server, and it would have general information, it would have books, it would have
dating.
I don't know if dating was there yet.
It
but
was.
Maybe it was. And
Mimi met her husband that way.
Okay.
My oldest dearest friend.
You dial in, and then one day they started getting connected. Now I'm sure the militaries had their own networks and so on, and then everything. But when they started connecting all the bulletin boards around the world, that's what became the World Wide Web. And I remember the excitement of it. The first browser I had was Netscape Navigator.
Do you remember Web Crawler?
No.
With the spider?
No. I was Netscape Navigator. That was my one.
Yeah, Netscape. CompuServe was the first. I believe CompuServe was. I mean, we were in there early.
So
my
Salman
mom was-
Rushdie was stabbed in the neck at a speech. He was giving a speech the other day, or he was at some conference or something. And
sorry,
it's all right, man. 20 years, I believe, 21 years after the
Fatwa.
Ayatollah Khamenei called for his death for having written the Satanic Verses, of course, of his most famous book.
Mm-hmm. It's when he married
Kind of a
Padma
big deal because he spent years in hiding, and you know, he was afraid for his life for many years while they called for his death. Now, this is, I mean, everybody has to be incensed with this, no matter whether you're on the right or the left. You've got to be incensed by this because I assume we all hold the freedom of speech very, very high. Unless you're a fucking internet troll, in which case you're just a pain in everyone's ass.
You're a twat.
Oh shit, this is Italian? Sorry.
It's an Italian.
Sorry about that. Of course, I'm going to get all the Italian when I look for anything. Okay, here's BBC. People hate the BBC. I don't know. As much as they do CNN, I doubt it.
No.
So he was charged with attempted murder, this guy. He went for his neck. I mean, 21 years after, he did well, Salman. This is
apparently he's going to lose an eye, too, I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The fatwa was never rescinded. Is that true? I thought it was.
The fatwa, yeah. The fatwa, that's the word I was looking for. Well, no, the Ayatollah never lifted it, I don't think.
He just died. I was talking to a girl from Tehran, not older, but old enough to have lived in Tehran when it was.
Oh, you mentioned her last time, I think.
Yeah, she came in again, and we were talking about just today, and because we were talking about Salman Rushdie, and I was like, "Why would anybody want to live like that?" She says, "I don't fucking know why anybody would want to live under a oppressive religious regime like that." She doesn't know.
Well, the belief in their God, that's what it's all about.
You'd like that better than buying shoes at Saks Fifth Avenue and having a cocktail?
I know, but Woody Allen said, between God and air conditioning, I'll choose air conditioning. Yeah, like, it's not to be facetious or anything, but it's a lot when you call for the death of a man who just wrote a book. You know, he didn't try to kill your leader. He didn't do anything. He just wrote it. Salman Rushdie has started to believe that life was normal again. You seeing this? Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been so long. Before he was stabbed, the author said a lot of people today live with similar threats to those made against them, which is true. Yeah. Now, I've read a lot of his quotes and his speakings about. I haven't actually read the Satanic Verses.
Me neither.
I have to admit, but he wrote a book after that about the size of the world. I can't remember the name of the book, but he was talking about the world just getting too small for all these different beliefs to exist at the same time. There was a time where you could say what you want in the States or in England or wherever you are in Europe, and that was one thing. And then, but it wouldn't reach the Middle East necessarily. Now the world is far too small. And he said this 15 years ago. I mean, it's even smaller now,
Way smaller.
There were screenings to prevent attendees from bringing in a cup of coffee. Maybe screening for weapons would have been better. Yeah. Yeah.
You weren't allowed to bring, because they were selling coffee, so they didn't want you to bring your own.
So they didn't want you to bring your own, right?
Isn't that funny?
I hope he doesn't die because of this, because it'll be a victory then.
It'll be, oh God.
Yeah. He's a very, very intelligent man. You may not agree with everything he says.
I think he is, but
guy.
I think he's a serious egomaniac and narcissist.
You do?
Yeah, because he was like married Padma Lakshmi, someone who's far out of his league, and then he was doing like hanging out at all the posh clubs, and he was reveling in celebrity. And it was like, yeah, it was like, flying in the face of the fatwa. It was just, he comes off as a bit of an arrogant tool.
Maybe since the Ayatollah
Famed
died.
author Salman Rushdie was scheduled to speak at a
Oh.
lecture series at the Chautauqua Institution when witnesses say a man jumped onto the stage just as the event was getting underway and began punching and stabbing Rushdie. One witness tells CNN she counted roughly 7 to 10 stabbing motions before fleeing for her own safety. Rushdie suffered stab wounds to the neck and abdomen,
Ooh, look at the
according to
blood
New
on
York
the-
State Police,
Wow.
and was airlifted to an area hospital.
Was a state police officer who stood up and saved his life, protected
She looks like a
him,
madam, doesn't she?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, with the eyes.
as well as the
eyebrows.
the moderator who was attacked as well.
The suspect was quickly taken into custody. New York State Police identified him as 24-year-old Hadi Matar.
There was a lot of screaming and crying and everything. People rushing from the audience up on the stage.
The 75-year-old author was born in Mumbai and later moved to the UK. Rushdie is accustomed to living under threat. His controversial fourth novel, The Satanic Verses, published in 1988, sparked public demonstrations all over the world.
I remember it.
Some Muslims consider the book sacrilegious. In 1989, the late Iranian leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini issued a
Ruhollah.
fatwa,
You
a
said that well,
religious decree
Khomeini.
on
did.
Rushdie, calling for his death.
But it's fake news because
Rushdie-
it's CNN.
Protection for
It's
nearly
fake.
10 years before the Iranian government announced it would no longer enforce the fatwa.
Ah,
Rushdie wrote a memoir about that era of his life called Joseph Anton, the name he used while in hiding. He has been outspoken over the years about living through that time.
Best way that what I can do to fight this is to show that, in the way that a child shows a bully in the playground, I ain't
Right.
scared of you.
right.
And the best thing I can do is to go on being the best writer I can be and to lead
Oh,
as
hi,
open
kitten.
a professional and personal life as I can. And it's just a way of saying that there may be this danger and it's a terrible thing and it's an ugly thing and we need to fight it and we need to defeat it, but we don't have to hide under the bed.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
listen. It's got to be faced head on. This crap. You've got to be allowed say, even if people say a lot of shit I don't agree with. You've got to be allowed to say it.
You have to be allowed to say it.
Yeah, you can't silence. I said this before umpteen times about Alex Jones. I'm not a fan of his.
Just do that.
But shutting him down, you can't do that shit, man. You can't do it. You got to just hope that the other voices, prevail. And if they
Life's
don't, they
too
don't.
short, kids, to censor people. But I'll tell you what I can say. Let me find it really ready. Wait.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed though sometimes by these guys and their passion. Don't get me wrong. I don't support this attack in any way or the fatwa or anything like that. But these guys never forget, man. They never forget.
No, of course they don't, because they're religious fanatics.
Their taste for vendetta
Oh yeah,
is strong, and
I can't hold a grudge.
no,
I'm over it.
we're
in
different,
5
me and
minutes.
you.
I'm over it in 5 minutes.
I always say, look, I'll let the grudge go. After 100 years, it's over. We won't talk about it again.
That's like almost like
first
Scientology.
that first 100 years, but after that, I'll let it go. All right, when we're friends again, we'll kiss and make up.
Life's too short. Like, I mean, I've had some people do some exotically shitty stuff to me, and I just go, they're not in my movie anymore, or
Right.
I'm not trying to be uber Christian, though. I think it's a good way to live, to try to be forgiving if you can.
Right.
But that's not the motivation. It just chemically leaves me. I don't care anymore.
Well,
I
that's
just
good.
don't care. Yeah, maybe.
No,
Sometimes I wish I could be like, fuck, and then carry out some secret execution or assassination,
but
I write
anyway,
about that a lot, though.
You write about it?
Yeah, with like lyrically for my band.
Oh, in your band?
There's a lot of that. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, we made a conscious effort to not do that anymore
Oh, I see.
because it just got stupid. I put that up there. The Abeshes wish Ray Ray a very, very happy birthday. Thanks, pal. Thanks for tuning in every week.
Happy birthday, Ray Ray. I didn't know it was your birthday, man.
It's his birthday.
Oh, man. Happy birthday, Ray Ray. The ever-present Ray Ray. You're good at keeping an eye on the chat here. Have we had lots of trolls in here or not?
No. We do get, you know what, I've never experienced before, but on the YouTube channel, like after the show's over, there's all this kind of Russian links to porn that I kept reporting, and it kept popping right back. Like hot, sexy girls.
Sure.
Click here. But,
right.
Anyway, talk amongst yourself real quick. I'm going to snack her because she's... Look,
oh, yeah, do it. The cat... Yeah, it takes priority. Listen, guys, you know, there's a lot of you maybe who don't agree with what I think, what Dirk thinks, but by God, you know, you have to be allowed to say it. Now, if it's just pure trolling and horribleness, and you know, then that's not an opinion. That's just hatred and so on, and it's, you know, it's just dirt and filth and so on. That's a different thing. But if it's you know, opposing attitudes, we're here to hear it. You know, share it, of course, at your own risk, obviously. Go ahead at your own risk, because we might retort. Oh, well, allow me to retort. There's your first movie quote of the evening. Easy one. Oh, you were finished. Okay, well, allow me to retort. No, the repudiation is, of course, you know, headed your way, perhaps, but you know, you still, ideas have to be shared. And I know we have the microphones and you guys don't, and that probably seems imbalanced. I guess it is imbalanced, but you know, it's about discussion. I've learned a lot by listening. Quite often, I've sat at bars with guys with extremely heavily fascist ideas here in this country. I've mentioned this before. And shit, I just listen. Well, first of all, what am I going to do? You know, repudiate some Nazi or whatever. I'll just let him think what he thinks, but or change the subject. But also I'll keep my ears open, because that's what it's about, you know. It's about listening. You might learn something, or at least learn something about what the other side is thinking. To shut down Salman Rushdie, or to try to threaten his life because of words. Hey, listen, what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock is the same. It's not as serious, of course, nowhere near. But, you know, Chris Rock made a joke. You should be allowed to make jokes. You know what I mean? So it always got it first. I believe you got it first. Yes, you did. Pulp Fiction. You got to be allowed to say what you got to say, no matter how heinous and crazy and weird it is. You know, if you need examples of that, in 1930s Germany, there were some people with opposite ideas, with opposing ideas, and they were considered heretics at the time. And boy, were they right. You know what I mean? So just think of it that way. Anyway, what else were we supposed to talk about? I can't even remember what the subjects were. Oh yeah, the word inmate.
Can you pull up the article so we could read it?
Yeah.
Because I read it and I just want to go through how stupid it is.
We'll start talking about it while I find it.
Okay, so New York State has decided to remove the word inmate in regards to people who have been incarcerated because they feel like it's stigmatizing. Isn't jail supposed to suck? Isn't it supposed to be gruel and ass fuckery?
I don't agree with that. I like the Norwegian model of prison that is about rehabilitation and retraining and reprogramming, rather than just making life horrible for you, and you know, and then you get off early and you walk out a bit even bigger monster and, you know, commit even bigger crimes in society. I'm not sure that the
if you
prison
believe
system
if
really
you believe that
works.
rehabilitation is like,
Is
what's
possible.
the percentage? What's the what do we? I mean, I don't know.
In Norway, the maximum sentence is 21 years. They don't have a death penalty, obviously.
Even for
Very
murder?
few countries have. Even for murder. The Anders Breivik, the guy who shot 81 kids on that island there like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He got 21 years. His cell is kind of paradise in comparison to your average cell in the States or certainly in Russia or whatever. They have TV and stuff. Because their idea of it is we're taking you away from society to fix you, not to punish you, because punishing doesn't seem to be a deterrent. If it were, there wouldn't be any crime. Because I think it's pretty clear to people that if they go to jail, things ain't going to be nice. So, and clearly with the death penalty, this is an even bigger discussion maybe for another day, but clearly it's not a deterrent. It's not working as a deterrent. People are still doing heinous, horrible things. Therefore, if
maybe we need to Papillon them.
In Papillon?
Put them in French Guiana. And
yeah.
I'm not into hurting or torturing anybody, but I mean,
we might have different ideas about it. I've always been a critic of the prison system, not just in America, but across the world. The Russian prisons apparently are pretty horrific. New York law books will no longer use the word inmate to describe people in prison as part of a measure signed Monday by Governor Kathy Hochul. Is that how you say it?
Hochul.
Use of the word inmate has come under criticism by advocates who sought changes to New York's criminal justice system, arguing the term dehumanizes people. Well, there's one thing's for sure, and that's when you're in the system, because I've been in the system, you're dehumanized, for sure. Laws in New York will now refer to people in prison as incarcerated individuals.
Or just I. I'm I.
The change also comes as New York has sharply reduced the number of people in state prisons over the last decade, and many facilities have closed in the state prison system. You know, I think prison systems are flawed. I definitely
They are, of course.
Especially when, you know, there was a case there years ago. I digress slightly. Where two guys broke into a man's home. This is about 10 years ago in the States, and he was a doctor. You know, they did terrible things to his family and so on. I think they killed his whole family. He survived it somehow. And those two guys they were sentenced to death. And, you know, when you look at the crime, you say, yeah, that fits. But one of the guys I started reading up about it because everybody was like, burn them, you know.
The witches, burn them.
Yeah, burn them. Yep. And I just I read up about one of the guys was a real monster, the older guy, but the younger guy had gone to jail for 7 years for breaking and entering or something fairly benign. Okay. Yeah. And in jail, he wrote this thing before he committed that crime. He wrote this thing. Now that people will feel the fear I felt, now they'll know the pain. And I read the thing and I was like, you know what? He went from being a small-time criminal to a complete monster. He went in there and went into complete hell. And then he got out. He got out after 7 years. And now he's unleashed on society now as an extremely bitter and broken individual. That ain't going to work. Maybe the Norwegian system is better. They would have brought, there's a farm, apparently there's some island they have. Let me take this off. And a lot of the prisoners in Norway, they don't want to go to it because they're too lazy. They're like, I don't want to fucking go to that. But they'll send you to this island and it has a farm and tractors and all sorts of stuff and equipment. And you have to learn how to farm the land. You have to be up at 6:30 a.m. or whatever and farm the land and feed the cows and become like
disagree with that.
Contribute to, you know, agriculture on the island. And that is apparently, according to them, a stimulant to helping rehabilitation of your mind, of your person.
Well, they could certainly get a job when they get out too, because they're now going to have a skill set, as opposed to safe cracking or murder or whatever it is.
Right.
You know, I mean, that sounds like a great place for. I mean, is it for everybody? It just, one case that sticks out of my mind is this. Do you remember this a couple of years ago? You still lived in New York at the time. There was a woman and her 2 daughters, and they were shopping, and these 2 guys got in their car and took her to a bunch of ATMs, took out a bunch of money, then went back to her house and raped all the girls and killed them. And the mom and the husband was there, and they tied him up, and he watched it.
I think that's exactly the story I just mentioned.
Is it the same one?
I think it's the same one. Terrible. I mean, horrific.
And they went out, and there was an older guy, and he was, I guess, the mastermind. This
is exactly the story.
After the girls were dead.
You remember it better than me. Yeah.
After the girls were dead, he got another card. He figured out, like, the husband had the pin or whatever, and he took the wife one last time to another ATM to withdraw money, and then they set their house on fire.
That's right. That's exactly the story.
So in Dirk's court, the judge says, here's the 3 guys, and he puts them in a room with the husband, and the husband gets to do whatever the fuck he wants to them.
But maybe he doesn't have that in him. He's a medic, this guy. He probably doesn't have that.
I just don't think any jury, any system is going to fix what those guys did. And this is an extreme case of evil. This is not selling weed on the streets with your dumb friends. This is not any of that. This is just diabolical evil. It's a completely different thing than, you manipulated the stock market. You're an inside trader. That kind of shit. Gun possession. You have a gun. I mean, you shouldn't have a gun, but if you have a gun, if you're going to have a gun, you should be licensed, and you should go through the right channels and do all those things like every other mass shooter in schools does.
Follow their example.
But I just think, like, what do you do with those guys? And if it is the exact same story, it was the most gruesome thing I ever heard in my life. And I think they're bad machines. And those 3 guys need to be just dead. They need to be off the planet.
I don't remember it being 3. I thought it was 2. But anyway, the younger guy had gone into prison, because jail is up to 365 days. Prison is anything over that. He had gone into prison for something much lighter. But he had become... Here's another example. There's a guy... I was watching a documentary on solitary confinement, something I'm kind of heavily against. And Colorado is, I think, the only state in the United States that has 100% solitary confinement prison.
Oh, wow.
One guy was taken in for computer he was selling stolen computers, right? And he got, I don't know, he got 2 years, whatever. He was a little genius, like he was a computer dude, but he was on the wrong side of the law, and he was, selling stuff. It was a crime for sure, but he didn't kill anyone or do anything heinous to anyone. So he goes in, and then he gets in trouble in jail because he gets pushed around and he fights back. Now I felt like that could be me. I'd fight back. I'm a fighter. I go in with these guys, I'm going to fight back. So he fights back, and he gets in trouble, and he gets thrown in another jail, and his sentence is added to. Then he winds up in solitary confinement because they're pretty hard courts. That's a really tough state with their penitentiary system. And sidebar, penitentiary, the word comes from Pennsylvania. That's where the first penitentiary ideas were.
I did not know that.
And they just kept adding and adding. Now, you stick someone in solitary, they ain't coming out normal. You may as well just kill them, because you're just
so mad.
They go crazy. The guy goes in, right, and he's in the tiny thing, and there's a circle that's been worn out in the paint on there's paint on the floor, heavy, whatever paint, gray, taupe. Usually it's taupe color, right? Taupe is very they say, here's a quote for you guys. They say taupe is very soothing. What's that from? They say taupe is very soothing. They always paint like inside of hospitals and prisons taupe. That
Taupe,
pale gray color, right?
It's such a nothing color.
It's a nothing color, right? And they say taupe is very soothing. So he goes in, and there's a worn out piece of the floor because someone's been walking in circles.
Sure, like
okay?
Midnight
And
Express.
he looks at it, and he's terrified because he was thinking, I'll never get there. I'm gonna let me never reach that point. And 3 months in, he starts pacing the circle.
Sure.
Ocean's 11, Nathaniel got it.
Oh. Do you remember that scene in Midnight Express? We should do prizes. Next week we'll do prizes.
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene in the Midnight Express when they're walking around the obelisk and he goes, "You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way." Because Billy Hayes starts going the other way because he's rebelling against the mind fuckery. Have you seen Midnight Express?
I have not. I heard a lot about that film.
Wow.
I need to see it.
Oh, it's breathtakingly insane. Brad Davis, John Hurt. Oh, what a movie.
Anyway, to finish the story about the guy.
Yeah.
He has a 112-year sentence in solitary.
Well, that'll do it.
He went in for selling stolen computers.
Well, that's, a ridiculous.
So this is what
country
I'm trying
was
to
this?
say. It's in the States. It's in Colorado.
Colorado.
So,
which everybody's on meth there.
No, but it's like, well, they have that solitary confinement prison 100%. The entire prison is solitary.
But why would selling stolen computers?
Because he got in trouble inside, and then it gets extended, and then it gets moved up the system, and then they add, and they add, and they add. You go into jail there, or jail in most places, best thing to do is to shut the fuck up and sit down and don't do anything. And then you still might get raped and abused by the inmates, and the guards might sit back and watch and eat popcorn while it's happening. There's a lot of shit that can happen. You fight back, it could be even more trouble. You're really between it's the definition of a rock and a hard place. So what I'm saying is, a lot of these guys go in, they get worse. One of those guys from that case you're talking about, that heinous case, he went in for something small, but he was turned into a monster. So the prison system isn't really working unless you take them all in and gas them. You turn it into a total fascist state and you kill everybody. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Now, people laugh at Norway. Oh, they're bringing guys in. It looks like a small hotel room. They even have a flat screen TV. And they're bringing guys out on the farm. And these monsters are feeding cows and sheep and so on. Well, maybe that's what we should be doing.
Cows. I would be worried about that these psychopaths might hurt the animals.
Well, I'm not, because I don't think they've got anything against animals. I think they just lost their way in society. A lot of people mess up.
But then there's also sociopaths and psychopaths.
There are also those. There are also those.
People who lose their way can be rehabilitated because they're sad sacks and life has dealt them a terrible blow. But then there's I know a couple of people.
Isn't that the case more often than not, that life just dealt you an awful hand? Steve Jobs, one of our kings, like mentors, right? Gods, right?
Oh, yeah.
A visionary.
Sure.
For Apple Computer. He said that if he didn't become what he was, he probably would have wound up in jail.
Or just the loony bin. Now, he was also on the spectrum. He didn't bathe. People didn't want to go near him because he smelled bad. So this is a guy that would have been committed, not arrested.
Committed, maybe. Yeah. He would have got off as being, crazy.
Apparently, he had the worst BO that there is. Like,
that's
straight up Sauvignon Blanc BO style.
Sauv Blanc. I love that.
BO and soda. It's the worst.
I don't know. I'm not coming to any conclusions. I'm just saying, think about it.
Well, we can't. First of all, it's case by case.
Sure.
I mean, people, you can't assume anything about a person's psychological makeup or intent until they're interviewed, or the case by case. Like these guys in Connecticut that did that. That is just, I mean, evil beyond the definition of evil.
Let's pull up Holden's comment because he's having a hard time, and let's hear what he has to say. Well, Oisin, we in America are not a homogenous culture, and we have many people not open to Norway's farm prison system.
No, we're a young
culture. I know. I mean, that's the point, man. I mean,
America.
I think people should think about that. I don't think, and this is how we got onto it, because of inmate, and you said shouldn't prison be about tyranny and a horrible. Whatever, what was your word you chose? I can't remember.
I said gruel and ass fuckery.
Ass fuckery, right? I don't think that, you're coming out a better guy. Yeah, you're if you ever get out, which most people get out. And then there's that whole thing, most people who get out wind up back inside. What's that quote? There's a quote. Usually, here's a word. I don't even know which film this is from. Usually when you're in France and you get out of France, you wind up back in France. There's some cool quote from a movie. Somebody trying to speak in code about going to jail. Usually when you go on holiday in France and then you leave France, you're more likely to go back to France. It's some kind of code. There's a brilliant, I can't even think of it myself. Anyway, there's that thing that if you get out, you're going to wind up back in. Why? Because you're not a better person. So clearly the prison system isn't working correctly. How to fix it? I don't know. I don't have the answers.
I don't know if
we should look abroad. We should look abroad. It's that refusal to look abroad.
Farm is just a nicer chain gang, isn't it? It's just a nicer chain gang. It's a nicer mine to drill. It's a different kind of. It's a more bucolic kind of coal mine. You're going there to work from sun up to sundown in a regimented fashion to learn some kind of values. It's just not as hard a labor as putting down train. Let's face it. Australia was built by criminals. The whole kit and caboodle. The train system was all built by the great railroads of America was all chain gangs.
Right.
So like we wouldn't have
cheap labor.
Yeah, we wouldn't have half the stuff if we didn't put inmates to work. And Oh Brother, Where Art Thou comes to mind. Another great
right.
movie.
Yeah, that's a good one. So now they're incarcerated individuals. I think the word incarcerated carries a certain stigma too, right?
Me too. Incarcerated.
I was incarcerated.
I
remember selling a computer to a guy we met in a Starbucks or something. This black guy, good looking fella, big muscular guy. He came along with his girlfriend. She was pretty too. And they sat there looking, they wanted to buy this laptop off me. One of the many deals I did. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of deals. And the guy was like, yeah, I was going to buy one like a few months ago, but I was incarcerated. So I had to wait. He just said it like in the conversation, like it was really normal. I was like, oh, I see. Oh, well, yeah, that would get in the way of your savings. Oh, shit. He just mentioned it like, like I was sick or I was on holiday or, I was studying for a test but I was incarcerated. And I thought, oh my God, it must be a word that is just thrown around so normally in his circles. He's the sweetest guy ever. He's a lovely fella. Lovely couple. But I was incarcerated. It's quite a word. I don't know. Inmate, incarcerated.
I don't know. I hate to say it, but this is where the what's her face? Who's that dumb broad that I can't stand? Cortez. What's her name?
Ozaria.
Yeah, she's the defund the police lady. AOC. Good luck with that, darling. She's like people like her and the far left end of stupidity is all of the stuff that we talked about with gender and the gay world about words that are defamatory and demoralizing, and every day a new word is picked out of the ether that is offensive to somebody, and it's now gotten to the point where man and woman is offensive to people. So I don't know, like don't you, my canine, don't call it a dog. What are you, out of your mind?
Dog is putting your canine down.
It's putting my canine, my four-legged
Spot is
companion,
so much
down.
more than just a dog.
Right. It's just such stupidity with this the labeling of words and who's offended by this, that, or the other. Like I was talking to a guy I work with who happens to also be gay, and we said we love the word faggot.
Because you enjoy it.
We enjoy it because it's like old school, because we're older gays, and it's like, oh yeah, please, this old faggot or this old queen. It's like you can't say that anymore because all these people have these rules of what you're allowed to talk about, and it's just such bullshit.
I know. I understand the stigma associated with lots of terms. It's so liberating when you don't care about words anymore.
It is so liberating
because you give words a lot of power.
Yeah.
Even the N word is right. Even the N word is so empowering. I think that the N word has now come around, has come full circle. I think that's so empowering.
But the way the black community uses it,
they use it. It's like,
and
hey,
it's turned it
you
into
can't
nothing.
hurt me anymore, you moron. You can't hurt me.
However, I've heard
word.
I've still heard it in a really horrible context out of people who shouldn't be using it.
Sure.
And like when I hear it, I just immediately just get
I understand that, but I'll never forget the Lenny Bruce scene with Dustin Hoffman from Lenny, that film Lenny. Lenny Bruce, great comedian who did that whole scene. You guys should look it up with the N word. It's an amazing scene. How you remove power from the word. Hey, I'll pull it up for the end of Eye Bashers. If any podcast / whatever live stream can show this clip, it's the Eye Bashers. Okay, so let's see. Lenny and word. Let's see if it'll come up. It's been banned a lot across. Okay, here's the clip. It's been limited a lot across the internet because people don't want to hear it. And this is 1947 we're talking about here. And it's amazing. It's an amazing clip. And it's talking about removing the power of the word. Once people don't care, then you've removed the bomb they have in their hands. This is a commercial.
Let's watch a commercial first.
Yeah, let's watch a commercial. I hope they have the full.
Any niggers here tonight? Can you turn on the house lights, please? And could the waiters and waitresses just stop serving just for a second? Yeah, and turn off the spot. Now, what did he say? Are there any niggers here tonight?
Oh, well, now the volume just disappeared. Can you hear that anymore?
No,
it's gone. Great. Thank you so much, Lenny.
Why? Because he already did. The damage was done there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I have to type it in. It almost feels wrong. Here we are. Can I get this clip? Is this the same clip?
I don't know how many of you know it, but I was arrested. Busted. Let's see. It's an 11.
Dirty but not obscene. It's actually quite an amazing film. It's about Lenny Bruce. He went from being one of those great.
How about that one right there?
Which one? This top one? I don't know. I want to get the actual scene. Lenny, movie, Hoffman.
Yeah, you have to type the word.
I know. I have to type the word here.
You have to type the word.
Hard.
Are there any niggers here tonight?
Okay, here we go. This is 1949.
Can you turn on the house lights, please? And could the waiters and waitresses just stop serving just for a second? Yeah, and turn off the spot. Now, what did he say? Are there any niggers here tonight? I know there's one nigger here because I see him back there working. Let's see. There's two niggers. And between those two niggers sits a kike. And there's another kike. That's two kikes and three niggers. And there's a spick. Right? There's another spick. Ooh, there's a wop. There's a Polak. and a couple of grease balls, and there's 3 lace curtain Irish mix, and there's 1 hip, thick, hunky, funky boogie. Boogie, boogie. I got 3 cocks here. Do I hear 5 cocks? I got 5 cocks. Do I hear 6 spicks? I got 6 spicks. Do I hear 7 niggers? I got 7 niggers. Sold American. I've passed with 7 niggers, 6 spicks, 5 nicks, 4 cocks, 3 guineas, and 1 wop. You almost punched me out, didn't you? Well, I'm just trying to make a point, and that is that it's the suppression of the word that gives it the power, the violence, the viciousness. Dick, if President Kennedy would just go on television and say, I'd like to introduce you to all the niggers in my cabinet. And if he just say nigger, 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 every nigger he saw, boogie, 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 nigger, 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 till nigger didn't mean anything anymore, then you'd never be able to make some 6-year-old black kid cry because somebody called him a nigger in school.
That's not even 1950.
No, that's supposed to be 1963 or 2.
Really?
It's when Kennedy was president. Yeah.
Oh, it was Kennedy? Well, it will be pre-63.
So it'd be 1960 to 1963.
Okay, so
he was killed in 63.
I preempted it then by 10 years. My bad. But what an amazing point. You add the power to the word by getting offended by it. If you just own the word and just say it, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what word it is. It's just the word. But like they're inventing new words that have got now that new power, like man or woman.
Yeah,
boy
now
or girl.
And now it's gotten really, really out of hand. That's a very good observation. Now we've gone beyond the beyond. Now you don't even have. It doesn't even have to be an offensive word anymore.
It's not faggot or nigger or spick or Jew or none of the usual epithets that we're accustomed to. It is now worker. It is now waitress.
Yeah,
it is now actress.
Wife, husband,
husband.
Karen. A coffee black, please. I'll take my coffee black, please.
I'll take my coffee black. Right. What about a flat white?
What about a flat white? So, like, I just think it's empowering, and I love it when people embrace a word. And I love that you said that, with your friend, just saying, yeah, we love the term faggot. We don't care. That you're not giving power to the word.
You can't say it out loud, but we say it in everybody's circles. In black circles, the N word. In Jewish circles, the Jew word. In the gay circles, all the gay insults. We use them internally. She's a dirty old queen. I'm tired of that faggot. We do it all the time. But then you hear, somebody who's not in the circle say that he's a dirty old faggot. I'll tell you, whenever I see that kind of shit on TV, or I laugh at it because I still have a sense of humor. I can laugh at myself, and I can laugh at you too. And I don't know why anybody else, I don't get insulted by that. I don't know why everybody's so on this tangent where we all need to be so fucking insulted all the time. You know what I am? I'm a Mick faggot.
Rather than banning the word and sweeping it under the rug or hiding it away in a room and locking the door and throwing away the key, just remove the power it has. Just go and it'll dissolve. It will dissolve.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie, Lenny.
It's always sad because it doesn't end.
He becomes a heroin addict and he kills himself.
Yeah. But it's it's a great performance by Hoffman and so on. It's very interesting.
And that was directed by, who directed that?
No.
Oh man. Take a wild guess. Think of the time. Nope.
I don't know.
Bob Fosse.
Bob Fosse directed that. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a cool film. It's an interesting story about him, and he paved the way for George Carlin, Bill Hicks, and all these great comedians and so on. But the shock factor, but also the truth factor.
Right.
A lot of truth happening. Anyway, it's a lesson that somehow we've seemed to maybe never absorb, and now we're at the worst stages of it now. You remove inmate, and replace it with incarcerated. For fuck's sake, like, I don't know. I don't know what really changes, at all.
Somebody with a big mouth starts spreading the news that it's offensive. Like Nathaniel just said, he was quite happy when his Fighting Irish regularly beat the Syracuse Orangemen, right? So it's like all of the Native American baseball, football teams had to get rid of their logos of Indians and teepees and things like that, because a group of people got together after 50, 70, 90 years of these organizations being in existence. They found a reason to get mad. Now, I'm not a Native American, so I would imagine, whoa, and all that stuff is probably very offensive to a point. But when did we? I regularly laugh at, like, the knackers under the bridge, or the drunken Irish shit, or the Queenie cruising the back room, all of the things that I am, all the ridiculous stereotypes and comedy and insults. I laugh at all of them. None of them offend me. They don't.
That's the important thing. Now, listen, it's hard to deliver this message. It's a tough message to deliver. And I think that scene was brilliant, that he started it like that. And that guy was ready to punch him out.
Yeah.
And it's
that guy's face. Woof.
Yeah, he's
Man,
ready to take him
eyes.
out. But it's like the point is a strong one. And I think if people embraced it more, it would help. It would really help a lot, because if people didn't get so offended at every little term, the world would be a lot lighter. Yeah. It's directly connected, as you said, to sense of humor. You gotta have a sense of humor. What was it? Lace curtain Irish Mick?
Lace curtain Irish Mick. Right.
What does that mean? I don't know.
Oh, you don't know what lace curtain means?
No, I don't know.
It's attributed to Irish Americans, the ones that came here that weren't, the maids. They were the ones that they call them lace curtains, like the uppity ones, the ones that became landowners and slave traders and all that. They were the people who had a little bit of money when they came over here. So they were the fancy Irish. And the opposite were the shanty Irish, which were the regular steerage
muckers
that came over here.
We're from the muck, from the ground.
Right.
Yeah. The muckers.
So,
Holden Caulfield, has anyone counted the number of topics that have been discussed tonight? Truly fun to listen to kind and intelligent conversation. Thank you.
Do you think Roger Waters stole that? Look, that one looks Jewish and that one's a coon. Who let all this riffraff into? Do you think that was inspired by that?
Maybe,
because it felt like it.
It felt like it. Really,
it felt like it. It felt.
Yeah, but Roger is posing as a fascist in that scene.
Of course, yeah.
It's like we if I had my way, I'd have all of them shot. He's pretending to be that Nazi leader. Yeah. J-Kid, thank you. Yo, bashers. All you bashers out there, you bashies.
Listen,
don't forget to hit that
all
like
you Jews and niggers and faggots and spics and lesbians and dykes and all you motherfuckers. We love you all.
We love you all, regardless. Can you drink? That's my only question. No, I can't hold it. One guy earlier was saying, I don't drink. I've never been interested. Of course, that's not a problem. I like a drinker because it feels like I know that person. Yeah. You know what it is about me liking a drinker when I have, it's like Roman Scharf, the watch guy, right? Who sells a lot of watches, the luxury bazaar. I have nothing in common with that guy at all. But he's a bit of a drinker. He's a Russian American dude, right? And the thing about it is when you have the familiarity with the drinker, it's like, how big an asshole I've made myself, on many occasions. It's like, it's a humility thing. It's like, oh God, you've been there too. Yeah, me too, man. Don't worry. It happens to the best of us. It's that kind of camaraderie. That's all it is about the drinker. But I've nothing seriously against non-drinkers. It's just like, I feel at home when I'm around a boozer because I'm like, oh, you too, man. Oh yeah, shit. It's just, we're buddies. It's like, shit. Oh yeah, you've woken up in the wrong place many times, haven't you? You've said stupid shit to people you love and adore, haven't you? You moron. Like, you know. So I feel a certain camaraderie. That's all it is. But hey, if you have no taste for it all, there's no lack of respect at all. We're at 2 hours and 9 minutes. I think we're going to wrap it up. It is 2 a.m. in Italy. I quite enjoyed that show, but I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate for playing that Dustin Hoffman clip. Why didn't he get in trouble for that clip? Remember Me Too? They tried to go after him for like holding
because he's
woman
an actor
around
and
the
he's playing a
shoulder.
role and he's repeating verbatim somebody. First of all, Lenny Bruce is one of the most revered comics in the history of the world.
Of course, you can't go up against him. So it goes. Oliver Reed. Oh, one of my heroes. That man.
Oliver Reed.
Oh my God, I love that guy.
Did you ever see that great clip with him and Shelley Winters on? Did you ever see it?
Oh, when he goes out on the talk show in Britain and he's drunk out of his mind.
She throws a drink in his face.
Yes, I've seen
on
that clip.
TV.
There are wonderful clips of Oliver Reed. He was a character, man.
He was a classic. But listen, the trinity of great British drinkers was Oliver Reed, Richard Burton, and you know who the third one was?
Probably Tony Hopkins. No,
oh no,
he had a big problem.
He did, but he did it quietly. He wasn't like one of the little.
Who was the what's his name? Just shit. Hit me with it.
No, come on, you get it. Richard Harris.
Richard Harris. Of course, Richard Harris.
Amazing. Could you imagine hanging out with those three dudes?
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah.
Is melting in the dark and the sweet green icing.
and one of my heroes, Chris Hitchens, as well. Big
sure.
drinker. We got a super chat at the very end. Look at that. Rob Morrison,
thanks,
$10.
Rob.
I don't mind one way or the other. When the powerful demand respect, they call it civility. When the powerless demand respect, they call it political correctness.
That's
interesting.
Brilliantly said, my
very
friend.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, guy. On Peter O'Toole, that's who I was trying to think.
Peter O'Toole. Oh, sorry. Then it was the foursome. Yeah. Peter O'Toole.
That's who is on the tip of my tongue. Richard
Certainly
Harris,
Peter
of course, but Peter O'Toole, I feel like.
Peter O'Toole.
Oh. Was Sean Connery a big boozer?
No. But apparently he liked to smack his wife around.
Apparently.
No,
Sean.
No, champagne. No champagne, you Sean. That's one of the greatest skits of all time. No, Sean. No cake, Sean. No croissant. No. He's like, I'll have one of those.
Doesn't look like it'll be much of a party.
Right, much of a party.
Carolyn Martin, you are.
Come
I don't
on,
know. I don't know where she comes from. From heaven, I think. Great show. Well,
where are you from,
thanks.
Carolyn Martin? Because we're saying you're Carolyn Martin, and you're probably from
Carolyn
Donegal.
Martin.
Are you not? She's like Brooklyn.
No, she's in the States. She's.
Oh, she is okay.
Yeah. I don't want to say unless you want to say Carolyn, but yeah, she's stateside, coming to Italy soon. I told her, hey, you should come through Venice. Drinks are on me.
Well, then. And Ray, happy birthday again. Dear Ray.
Happy birthday, Ray. There you go. J. Kid made it public. Carolyn
Martin, New Jersey legend. Okay,
New Jersey. Oh, there you go. First was from Nathaniel. Oh, from the super chats, was it? I don't know what she's referring to. I miss all this stuff. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. That's enough. That's enough to get me into at least a week's trouble and lose about, I don't know, 100 subscribers. On
Did
the
you
time
broadcast this on the
Oisin
Oisin O'Malley channel?
I didn't.
Today?
No, this was pure eye bashers.
Then fuck it.
It was a pretty good crowd, actually.
Then fuck you, scumbags.
That might be why we didn't get that many trolls. I think at this point we have our crowd. They like us, even if they don't agree with everything. They enjoy the chat.
You like us. You really like us. By the way, I'm gonna before you did. I just read Burt Reynolds' book. fantastic autobiography where every chapter is dedicated to somebody, and he does this whole thing on Sally Field. It's great. I highly recommend. Burt Reynolds,
Sally Field.
What a solid bloke. What a man he was.
Wow.
Great book. Read it.
Sally Field. I had a huge crush on her when I was a kid.
He said it was the love of his life, and he let her go, and he made the biggest mistake of his life. Then he married Lonnie Anderson. He goes, most people don't like Lonnie Anderson. I don't like her either.
Oh shit! Is that what he said?
That's what he said. Because most people don't like Lonnie Anderson. I didn't like her either.
Ray, because it's your birthday. I'll do Lenny. Happy birthday, motherfucker. All right, is that good enough for you, Ray?
Pretty good.
Lenny's coming back.
We need effects on here, like reverbs and shit.
Yeah. Lenny always has that bit of like theater reverb, and I actually drop his tone down about like, I don't know, half an octave or something.
Like, but we should be able to use Logic within
Lenny. This. I should get a little pedal and press it and just go into Lenny mode. But I have to like mute the screen, like darkness, because you can't see Lenny. All right, guys. Thanks anybody who hung on late. Great having you all. You bashies, you bashers. Let's bash this time, same place next week. And that was a fun show. I really enjoyed that.
Me too. Had a great time tonight.
Maybe it's because we walked that usual line that we would like to walk. I'm in this shit now. I'm gonna get a shitload of emails in the morning.
And I'm not gonna get anything.
No, you won't get. I'll get the brunt of it.
You'll get it.
Watch my subs go down on the other channel. We hate you. Honestly, it won't be for most. It won't be for most of all the shit we spoke about last. Mostly it'll be the Trump guys. They'll hate me now.
We said a lot of complimentary things about Donald tonight.
We did, but then I talked about his golfing.
I mean, he's a douche. Yes. However, he's got a couple of qualities. I love snowflake because people are snowflakes. Men are snowflakes now. Don't you want a big hairy man to carry you off and tell you it's going to be all right? Or do you want the guy to say, I'm looking for a multi-gender restroom? Just go into the fucking urinal. Pull out
a caramel frappuccino, please, with extra cream.
Oh, yeah. What's your number, sweetheart?
And I'm right behind him like, can I have a cup of coffee? Black.
Yeah, black. Right. Yeah. What color panties do you wear, dear?
What flavor of coffee would you like? Coffee flavored coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
I turn into Lenny.
Yeah. Coffee for me is a double espresso with nothing, and that's it. When people drink black coffee, I go, oh, yeah. My kind of person. Because it's not a dessert. Americans drink dessert coffees.
Yeah, it's not a bloody ice cream.
It's an ice cream.
It's a goddamn coffee.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here.
Right. Bye. Bye, you beautiful bastards. All of you.
You beautiful bashers.
You beautiful basher bastards.
Good night, guys.